Hello friends, how is it going? It's me, Betty Jean. We're continuing on with the 2023 Makeup Collection and Declutter series. This time we're going through my bronzers, and as you can already tell by the length of the video, it's a shorter one today. I usually combine face palettes with bronzers. I thought about combining bronzers with blushes, but I decided I wanted all the face palettes to go with their respective category this year, and I didn't want to just tag bronzers along with blushes because blush is going to be such a big video. I feel like maybe it won't, maybe it will. We haven't gotten that far yet, but I just felt like I wanted to keep it separate, so hope that's cool with you. We're gonna go over my bronzers today, my bronzer contour palettes, my creams, my single powders, and it's gonna be a good time. Before we get into the declutter itself, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on my Instagram and probably YouTube Shorts by the time this video goes up. If not, it's coming very soon. As far as my accessories today go, this necklace is Ana Luisa. These plugs are Love Kills Boutique. And then also, of course, just a few quick little things before we actually get into it. Number one, please don't get offended if I happen to declutter your favorite bronzer. I'm so glad that it's your favorite. I truly am. It's just not mine for whatever reason. Number two, don't ask me to send you anything. I feel very weird and icky giving used makeup to people I don't know. I give dibs to my close friends and family. I donate what I'm able to, and so on and so forth. I throw out and recycle what needs to be thrown out and recycled, all that jazz. And finally, please do not feel pressured to declutter your collection if that is not what you need in your life. It's just what I need in mine. I know not everyone feels the need to do this. I personally really like to. I like to do this little reset at the end of every year. It makes me feel really good and inspired. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and do some bronzer decluttering. Okay, hi, I'm covering this one up because it's reflective and my face looks weird in it. From this angle. So just ignore that. You know what? I'm just gonna, there we go. But hello, hi. This is actually gonna be a really quick declutter. I thought I was gonna combine bronzers and face palettes like I usually do, but I think this year I really just want to do the face palettes that correspond with that category. Like I'll do blush palettes with blush and then highlight palettes with highlighters, because then I might be able to narrow down my singles even more if I know I have palettes to kind of bounce off with it. So that's kind of what I wanted to do this year. I do have some bronzers though that I want to declutter. I have 15 total things here in front of me. I'll categorize it a little bit. Like we have palettes, creams, and powders, and I just need to narrow this down. There was once a time when I only had 2 bronzers total. And I was happy with that. And granted, I like having a variety. It's been fun testing out new bronzers and figuring out what formulas I like and don't like. But this is a little much. I'm finding that I'm not really grabbing certain things. I kind of use the same things. And that does tend to happen to me when I start to have too many things. I'll just play it safe and use the same thing all the time. So I think if we narrow this down a bit, I'll be a little more comfortable with where we're at in life. So let's just get started. We're gonna start with face palettes first. So let's get this one out of the way since it's reflective and annoying. This is the Ace Beauté Sculpting Palette or whatever, Ultimate Sculpt Face Palette. This is a fully cream bronzer palette. Unfortunately, I can really only use the light one, maybe a dash of this one, but even still, it's still not my all-time favorite formula I've ever used. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep this one. Then my only other 2 palettes are this one, the Kaleidos contour palette in the shade Fair. I do like this. I also really did like this as an under eye setting powder for a while. I went through my full single of this and then I still had some of this left. But do I want to keep it? My other option is the Forget Me Not from Blend Bunny. This is a versatile eye and face palette. I'm personally just keeping this as a bronzer palette. It's obviously quite large. A lot of these shades I can't even really use. This does work as a good brightener, even this one a little bit if I wanted that kind of a vibe. I can use these 2 and these 2 and maybe a smidgen of this one. Everything else would only be eyes for me. As far as highlight goes, I can use all of these except for this one. So I mean, I do like that it is versatile, but the question is, do I need it? I mean, for myself, if I'm being practical, I can get more use out of the Kaleidos one. I can use literally all of these shades, which are basically the shades that I can use in this without counting the white, but I really don't use a white under my eyes that often anyways. As much as I love Blend Bunny, I absolutely adore Blend Bunny, I just don't think this is my perfect palette. I think this is great if you're a makeup artist or if you are someone that uses a lot of neutrals on your eyes, because then you can just use this one palette for your eyes and your face. I just don't really play with neutrals very much. So I think I'm actually gonna declutter this one. I didn't see that coming. Like, it's been sitting in my drawer and I dabble in it, but if I'm trying to really condense my collection down, this one's just more useful for me if I want like an actual contour product. And I feel like this one also does replicate shadows on my face just a little bit better. Not that this is bad by any means. Again, it's a great formula. If you have your eye on it, I would recommend it. It's just not like my ideal type of product. So I'm gonna give this to a friend. One of my friends is gonna have a great time. All right, face palettes is off to a great start. Started with 3, decluttered 2. Now I have 1. Let's do my creams next. Let me just get my powders out of the way. I actually didn't realize I accumulated as much creams as I did, but here we are. I have 8. I don't need 8. Let's see, the ones that I don't want, this face hack from Freck, it's okay. It's just a little too sheer for me. So it's not my favorite. I'm gonna declutter it. Same with this Pixie On The Glow bronze. This is just a little too sheer, a little too subtle, not my favorite. Now let's see, I definitely wanna keep my bronzer sticks from Rare Beauty. Power Boost and Happy Soul. This one's Power Boost right here. It's a little bit more neutral, and then Happy Soul is a little bit warmer. I ended up keeping both last year. I thought I would declutter one, but I ended up keeping both. And I kind of still stand by that. Let's see. This is the Rare Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair. I've had this one for a little while. It's really pigmented. It's actually a pretty nice color too. Like, it's really the perfect combination of a bronzer and a contour. I have these from Milk. This is Dazed. I used to use the Milk Makeup Bronzing Stick for a long time, but then they came out with a lighter shade. Oh, I do like that. It's actually really similar to the Huda Beauty one, isn't it? Like, quite similar. I think with that being said, I think I'll keep the Milk one over the Huda one. I've also had this Huda one for a really long time. And then I have this contour stick in the shade Sculpt. I mean, it's a good like grayish color where like it's gonna mimic that shadow, but I really don't like full-on contour very much. These look bright orange compared. They really aren't orange in real life. They just look like warmth. But compared to this one, I mean, this looks gray next to those, and that's not the case either. It's just comparatively. But I don't use contour itself very often, and I feel like if I actually want to contour, I could just use my Kaleidos palette. I don't think I need to keep the stick. And then we have the Luminous Putty Bronzer. How do I feel about this? It's a little sheer comparatively, but it is a nice color. Like, it's a totally different color than the other things. If anything, I like this for a contour shade way more than that one because it's less gray. You know, I do like that color actually. Maybe I'll just keep these 3. I'll keep the Luminous Putty, I'll keep the Dazed stick from Milk, and I'll keep the 2 bronzer sticks. 'Cause let's see, these are the 2 bronzer sticks. Although, do I need the Milk one and both Rare Beauties? I like the creaminess of the Milk one a lot. You know, Power Boost is kind of similar to that Milk one, now that I'm looking at them. So maybe I'll just keep Happy Soul. Maybe I'll keep Power Boost. You know, I'm just gonna keep all of them. I really like these bronzers, so they're staying mine. You know what, I did good with that. I started with 8, I decluttered 4, and now I have 4. So let's move on now to the powders. All right, we got 4 powders here. I don't think I need all 4, if I'm being honest. This one I'm on the fence about. This is Sunburn from Give Me Glow. This one is technically a bronzer, like it was in the bronzer section on their website, but it's a little bit more of a like pinky shade of bronzer. And while I do like the Sunburn kind of look, I haven't really found myself reaching for this as much as I thought, because I can always just go heavier with like a peachy, sunburny colored blush, you know? So I don't know if I really need to keep this. I think it's a great idea. I think it's really cool, but I don't know. I don't think I need it anymore. The Sigma one in the shade Light. This is my favorite bronzer. Favorite bronzer ever. Bronzers just don't swatch good, especially when it's a powder. It's hard to like gauge, but that's the light bronzer from Sigma. Definitely keeping that. It's my favorite. And then we have the Fenty one in Into Sun. I'll pop this right there. It's so hard to even like tell what's going on. Let me try to build that swatch up a little bit more. That's a little bit better. I feel like it's slightly cooler toned than the Sigma one, but only by a smidge. They're pretty similar, but I love both. They're my 2 favorites, so I'm gonna keep that. And then we have the Glowish one from Huda Beauty. This one's getting kind of hard pan, actually. I mean, you can kind of tell just looking at it. I think this one's just a little too old. So I'll declutter that one too. Did pretty good with the powders also. I started with 4, I decluttered 2, and now I have 2. So let's move on now to my final totals and I'll get back to you. All right, so I started with 15 total like bronzery, contoury type products. I decluttered 8 of them. So now I have 7. I actually feel really good about that. I literally cut it in half. I feel a lot more comfortable with what I actually do own. I'm very aware of what I own and I feel good about that. Again, I know this will be a much quicker video than some of the other declutters in this series. And I thought about combining bronzers and blush, but I don't know, I kind of wanted to keep them separate. Blush is gonna be a feat in and of itself, and I didn't want bronzer to just be like a little sidekick to that. So I decided let's just do a quick little video for bronzer, and then we can move on to other things as time progresses. Coming up next will definitely be like blush and highlighters. I'm gonna attack all my lip products. My lips I do think I am actually gonna do as one big video. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm ready to gut all of those parts of my collection. And then obviously down the road, we'll be doing like all of my single shadows, liquid shadows, glitters, stuff like that. And then we will finish it off with eyeshadow palettes. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was satisfying for you. Oh, obviously the visuals, duh. I almost forgot. For those of you who care about the visuals, here is the picture of all 15 things that I started with in this video. Here are the 8 things that I ended up decluttering. And here are the 7 things that I'm keeping. And I'm very good with that. I feel very nice. I feel very happy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let's zoom out and finish this video up. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you being here and hanging out. I would just love to hear your thoughts. Do you love any of the bronzers that I love? Do you love any of the ones I decluttered? What are your personal favorite bronzers in your collection? And also, how many do you own? Because again, there definitely was a point that I used to only have like 2 and I was good with that. And then it really crept into like, I think upwards of 20 last year, and then I dwindled it down, and then it stayed a little bit better, but I've still acquired more. Are you like a bronzer hoarder, or do you feel content just having a couple? I would love to know. If you made it to the end of this video, please leave, you know, why don't you leave some like sunshine emojis, like bronze, you know, bronzer, sunshine, it goes together in my brain at least. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm battybean there as well. And also feel free to subscribe. I've been posting every day in October, and I will continue to post every day in October, but I do post most days here as well. Also, feel free to join my channel memberships. The link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only get ready with me once a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.